The rules for getting on a cruise ship have quietly changed this year. And if you've got a cruise booked for 2026, there are 10 new ones you'll want to know before you go. Because here's the thing. Most of the folks getting turned away at the terminal didn't do anything wrong. They just didn't know the rule had changed. I spent years on the crew side of that check-in desk, and I saw it happen all the time. So let me walk you through all 10, and how to make sure it never happens to you. Rule number 1, the 6-month passport window. Let's start with the one that ends the most cruises before they begin. Your passport can be valid, and still not be valid enough. A passport doesn't spoil like milk on its printed date. Most countries want it good for 6 more months after your trip ends. 6 months of shelf life, or you don't come in. So a passport that expires this fall can get you turned away for a cruise this summer. The cruise line didn't make that rule and can't bend it. The agent is just the one holding the stamp that says no. I watched a couple in their 70s, first in line, boarding passes in hand, get turned back because his passport had 4 months left. The pair right behind them had renewed in the spring and walked straight up the gangway. Same morning, same cruise. One of them sailed and one of them didn't. Your defense. Check your passport's expiration date tonight. You need 6 full months past your return date. Inside a year of expiring? Renew now. Routine renewals crawl in peak season. Bring the actual passport book. A photo of it on your phone gets you exactly nowhere. Magic phrase, does my passport meet the 6-month validity rule for every country on this itinerary? That one's about a date. The next one's about a single letter. In your own name. Rule number 2, the name that doesn't match. This is the one that makes people laugh until it happens to them. The name on your booking has to match the name on your passport exactly. Not close, exactly. The computer doesn't know you've gone by Peggy since the Nixon years. It only reads what the passport says. And if the booking says something else, it flags you. A maiden name on the reservation, a married name on the passport, a missing middle name, a typo from the day you booked. Any one of them can freeze you at the counter because that name is checked against a passenger list filed with border authorities before the ship ever left the dock. I watched a widow nearly lose her sailing over the name she'd used happily for 40 years. The woman beside her had caught the same mix-up a month earlier. One phone call, fixed. One of them boarded. The other stood at the desk and watched the line move on. Your defense, lay your booking and your passport side by side. The names must match, letter for letter. If they don't, call the cruise line today. It's a simple fix at home, an impossible one at the pier. Book every future cruise using your name exactly as the passport spells it. Magic phrase, my booking and my passport names need to match. Can you correct the reservation to my legal name? The next one has nothing to do with what's printed inside, and everything to do with the cover. Rule number 3. The passport that's seen better days. Here's one almost nobody thinks about. A passport that's still valid can still be refused if it's damaged. Your passport has been more places than most people you know. But if it's water-stained, torn near the photo, or the cover's peeling off, the border officer doesn't see a scrapbook. He sees a document he can't trust. And a passport ruled damaged is treated like no passport at all. The cruise line can turn you away on the spot because the countries down the line can reject it too. And here's what gets people. A worn passport usually works fine for years, right up until the day it doesn't. One agent waves it through, the next one won't, and there's no talking your way past that. It only has to be refused once, and it's always at the worst possible moment. Your defense. Open your passport in good light and check every page. Warping, tears, stains, or a loose cover all count. Anything questionable? Replace it early. A damaged passport can't be repaired, only reissued. Keep it in a hard travel wallet so it never rides loose at the bottom of a bag. The next 3 rules are the ones catching the most seniors right now, and they don't live in your passport at all. Rule number 4, the permission slip for England. Here's something the cruise line will never print on your welcome card. For more and more sailings, your passport alone is no longer the whole ticket. If your cruise so much as touches the United Kingdom, most visitors, Americans included, now need an ETA. That's an electronic travel authorization. You apply online. It clears before you leave home, and it links to your passport. It's not a visa, and the ship doesn't hand it to you at check-in. It's on you, and they will check. Show up without it on a UK sailing, and that beautiful, valid passport still won't get you aboard. I watched the confusion the very first season it came in. One retired couple assumed their passports covered everything, the way they always had. The travelers beside them had spent 10 minutes online the week before, approval saved right on the phone. One group did the homework. The other found out at the desk that the goalposts had moved. Your defense? Any UK port on your itinerary? Apply for the ETA on the official government site well before you sail. Use only the real government website. The copycat sites just charge you extra to do nothing. Save the confirmation printed and on your phone, ready to show at the terminal. Magic phrase: does any port on this sailing require a UK ETA before boarding? England's system is already live. The next one is the wave right behind it. Rule number 5, the Europe rule arriving any month. This is the one I want you ahead of, not behind. Europe is rolling out its own digital permission slip called ETIAS. It's for travelers who don't need a full visa, a quick online approval tied to your passport for a long list of European countries. It's arriving later this year, which means a Mediterranean or transatlantic cruise you book today could sail straight into the switchover. Same idea as England's. No approval, no boarding on the sailings that require it. The trap is simple. Assuming the passport that worked last summer still covers you next summer. I've watched this movie 3 times now. A new rule slips in quietly, and the folks who didn't check get caught in the first season. The couple who read the fine print sail. The couple who assumed get the apology at the desk. Your defense? Sailing to Europe. Check whether ETIAS is live for your travel dates before you go. When it's required, apply only on the official European Union site, well ahead of time. Treat every new season as a fresh check. Last year's rules aren't this year's. The next one can catch you over a country you never even planned to set foot in. Rule number 6, the port you never get off at. Now here's one that sounds almost unfair until you see how it works. Some countries want their paperwork even if you never leave the ship. Brazil's the clearest case. As of last year, US, Canadian, and Australian travelers need an electronic visa to enter. And if your cruise so much as stops at a Brazilian port, you need that visa to board, even if you plan to spend the whole day at the buffet. Yes, really. You can be denied over a country you had zero intention of visiting. The cruise line answers to every country on the route, so they check for every country on the route. This one bites hardest on repositioning and transatlantic sailings that thread through a handful of countries in one trip. I watched a couple get turned away over a single stop they'd barely noticed on the map. They never meant to get off there. But the rule doesn't care about your plans, only your itinerary. Your defense: read every port on your itinerary. Not just where you board, but every country the ship touches. Check each one's entry rules on the official government site. Yes, even the ports you'll skip. Do it within the month before you sail, because these requirements change with almost no warning. The next one isn't about where you're going. It's about whether the ship will let you sail at all. Rule number 7, the doctor's note. The ship can demand. Here's one nobody warns you about until it's too late to fix. A cruise ship is not a hospital, and the line knows it. So for certain health situations, they can ask for a doctor's letter clearing you to sail before they'll let you board. Recent surgery, an advanced pregnancy, oxygen, dialysis, or certain mobility equipment can all trigger the request. The letter itself is simple. It says your condition is stable and you're fit to travel at sea. But it has to come from your own physician, and it usually has to be dated close to your sailing. Without it, the ship can decline you at the door, because once you're out on the water, real help can be hours away. I watched a gentleman in his late 70s learn this the hard way. He'd had a procedure a few weeks earlier, mentioned it at check-in, and had nothing on paper. A woman that same morning had a 1-page note tucked in her passport. She never broke stride, and he never made it past the desk. Your defense: recent surgery, oxygen, or a condition that needs watching. Call the cruise line's access desk before you sail and ask what they require. Get a dated fit-to-sail letter from your own doctor and carry the paper copy with your documents. Declare scooters and medical equipment ahead of time so nothing's a surprise at the pier. Magic phrase, does my condition need a fit-to-sail letter from my doctor before boarding? The last three are the simplest rules on this whole list, which is exactly why they catch so many good travelers. Let's take a quick breath. We're 7 in, 3 to go. And real quick, I'm curious, have you ever come close to missing a ship? Tell me in the comments, I read them all, because these last 3 are the ones that catch the travelers who are sure it could never happen to them. Rule 10 especially. I've watched it stop people who'd cruised 20 times without a hitch. While you're here, do tap subscribe. I chase down these changes every season so you don't have to, and that free one-page checklist is sitting right in the description. Print it, tuck it in with your passport, and you'll never have to carry all this around in your head. Rule number 8, the boarding time that isn't a suggestion. This is the one people argue about at the desk and lose. That time printed on your boarding pass isn't a friendly suggestion. More ports and cruise lines now enforce assigned check-in windows, and the window closes long before the ship actually leaves. Fashionably late is charming at a dinner party. At the cruise terminal, it just means the ship waves goodbye without you. Seniors get caught because the old rule, just get there before it sails, doesn't hold anymore. If your window was 2:30 and you stroll up at 3:30 for a 5 o'clock departure, some terminals will turn you away just to keep the line moving. I watched a couple lose a sailing over 90 minutes they were sure they had. They'd stopped for a long, lovely lunch. The family behind them showed up at the start of their window and were already unpacking on board. Your defense. Treat your assigned boarding time as the real deadline, not the departure time. Aim to arrive right at the start of your window or a few minutes early. Leave a cushion for traffic, parking, and a slow line. Assume something runs late. The next one is so simple, you'll swear it could never happen to you. Rule number 9, the documents in the wrong bag. Here's one the crew sees every single month. You roll up to the terminal, a friendly porter grabs your big suitcase at the curb, and off it goes toward the ship. Feels wonderful, until you reach the counter and realize your passport is zipped inside that bag, and that porter is not launching a search party through 1,000 identical black suitcases. He's got a ship to load. Your documents have to stay on your body through the whole boarding process, not in the checked bag, not in the tote you set down by your feet. It sounds obvious from your living room. It happens anyway to organized people at the worst possible moment. I watched a wonderfully tidy woman nearly miss her cruise doing exactly this. She'd packed everything neatly into her rolling case so it wouldn't get lost. The fellow ahead of her kept his in a pouch around his neck and strolled right through. Your defense. Keep every document, passport, ID, boarding pass, on your body, never in a bag you hand off. Wear a lanyard or a zip pouch so your hands are free but your papers aren't. Hand nothing to a porter until you've double-checked your documents are still with you. The last one strands the most careful travelers on this whole list, and it's the reason I made this video. Rule number 10, the birth certificate trap. I saved this one for last on purpose. Plenty of cruises from a U.S. port are what's called closed loop. They start and end in the same American city. On those, the law still lets you sail without a passport using a birth certificate and a government photo ID. Simple, right up until it isn't. That birth certificate has to be a government-issued original or certified copy with the raised seal. Not the pretty hospital certificate with your little footprints on it. That one's precious and completely useless at the pier. Not a laminated keepsake, not a photocopy. And the moment your itinerary ends in a different port or touches a country that wants a passport, the whole shortcut disappears. I watched this strand more careful travelers than any rule on this list. A brother and sister in their 60s turned up proud they dug the certificates out of the attic, laminated decades ago, to keep them safe. The couple behind them had spent $40 on fresh certified copies that spring. One family boarded, one family drove home. Your defense? Sailing closed loop without a passport? Use a government-issued original or certified birth certificate with a raised seal. Never hospital, laminated, or photocopied. Bring a current, unexpired government photo ID to go with it. Honestly, just get the passport. It erases almost every trap on this list in one move, and it's good for 10 years. Magic phrase, is this sailing closed loop, and will a certified birth certificate and photo ID be accepted for boarding? Here's the honest truth. Not one of these 10 is complicated. They just catch good people who never got told. So before your next sailing, do one thing for me. Take 5 quiet minutes at the kitchen table, run down that checklist, and fix anything shaky now while it's still easy. The pier is a terrible place to find out. And once you're safely aboard, there's a whole other game waiting the moment you step off in port. The taxi lines, the special shop deals, the excursions quietly built to separate seniors from their money. I pulled the worst of it apart in the video right there on your screen. It might just save you more than this one did. Go give it a look, and I'll see you on the next one.